Okay, folks, Michael J. here. How you guys doing? How you doing, baby? Okay, so here's what we're going to do right now. Today, we're going to provide food for thought. As far as the American election, maybe you don't need a two-party system anymore. Have you ever thought about going away from a two-party system? Is that within the thought process, folks? It'd be nice if it was. So I'm going to put together something here for you right now. I'm going to share my screen. And it's going to be about discussing this in a very short and succinct way, very quickly. Okay, here we go. Now, this guy here is Don Lemon, former CNN host, had a long run, posted this just recently.
Donald Trump won, and this is what America wanted. They wanted someone they believed to be a strong man. They wanted someone they believed was better on the economy. Whether any of those things are true or not, and much of it's not, this is what America wanted. This is what people voted for. Most of America voted for MAGAism. They voted for the sexism. They voted for the racism. They voted for the convicted criminal. They voted for someone who wants to get rid of healthcare. They voted for someone who wants to get rid of the Department of Education. But those are all true, but that's what he wanted, and that's what they wanted. So look, this is where we are. America is honestly MAGA country now, and people have to get used to it. Doesn't mean that they can't fight against it. Doesn't mean that it's over. 4 more years in the White House, but that's not the end of the world. Let's hope so. Donald Trump.
So that doesn't mean you can't fight against it. You see something wrong with the picture there? You know, all you're doing is fighting back and forth, one party to the next party. Nobody's working together to create a better place for the people of America. You're just fighting one ideology against another ideology. You're just fighting back and forth. So you're in a constant state of conflict. So a good portion of the collective consciousness of the people decide they just want change. Doesn't matter who's going to give them change, and they just vote for the person that's going to give them the most change. That's all. Doesn't matter if it's good for anybody, which is a really dangerous road to travel. Because, you know, wouldn't it be better if you're providing a positive, uplifting experience that makes everybody's life better? Wouldn't that make more sense? Absolutely. So let's give you another example here as well. So I'm going to share my screen here again. And this is a fellow by the name of Anthony Scaramucci. Now, he was in the first administration of 2016 of President Trump, communication director. He's got a history of finance in the financial industry. So let's look at his take.
When he takes that mantle of leadership again, I hope that he takes a pause and thinks about that the country needs to unite and there needs to be a healing process in the country. I congratulate the president and Elon Musk. It was a well-executed campaign. He won the popular vote, John. It's a democracy. And so he's my president. He's your president. And I do wish him well. But I'm worried because the rhetoric that he was using in the campaign, if he executes on that rhetoric, it'll be good for some people, but it won't be good for all of America. And that's something that worries me. When he takes that mantle of leader.
Okay, so there is a very valid point. Try to have an open mind. Let's see what happens. But what worries him, which he is bringing to the attention of this video, is the rhetoric. So I want to explain to you, I had a personal experience back in 2016. Now, I'm not in America. So I'm not voting in America. Not in 2016, not this past election, and probably not ever. But understand that in 2016, that surprised the heck out of me. Trump became president. Understand who his campaign manager was, Paul Manafort. Paul Manafort is well known in other circles as a money launderer for Putin. He was also instrumental in working with the Ukrainian president at the time, who was a puppet of Putin. Now, what you have to understand furthermore is that Putin was put in place by Boris Yeltsin. Boris Yeltsin in the early 1990s was laundering money out of the Russian co-op or confederation in order to undermine Gorbachev. It's all for power. And it was in order to create the oligarch structure in order to do what they want to manipulate. They want to manipulate their people, and they want to manipulate the world. And this is the way they're going to go about it. And they aligned themselves with a British blue blood family that goes back to the Romanovs, which, predates, it goes way back in history. We're not going to cover it here, but that's what happened there. So Manafort, I figured right away, holy crap, all we got is a friggin' criminal. Plus I know about, Trump and his dealings with Martinelli and their alignment with like David Guzman and others that had relations with the Colombian and Mexican drug cartels. So it's a real mess once you go down that rabbit hole, folks. So I tried to have an open mind, and of course, no way. You ended up with a situation where when 2020 came, Trump lost, everything was fraud. All of a sudden there's fraud. He couldn't possibly lose. It was fraud. So between 20 and 2024, it's just nothing but fraud, fraud, fraud. He can't prove. He's had 4 years to prove that it was fraud. He hasn't proven it. 2024 comes, he wins. What happened to the fraud card? Folks, you're not asking the right questions. It's very important you ask the right questions. You've got a two-tier system, Democrat, Republic. If you haven't got the dollars, you can't play the political system. So you got two systems fighting against one another, and all you're doing is fighting. You just got an internal war constantly. And it goes for 4 years. You do a switch, continues for another 4 years. Non-stop. Never stops. So let's look at another example here. I'm going to bring up for you just to give you a little different understanding about things. A guy you may know, a guy by the name of Prince. Now, this is back in 1999. So this is what he was saying in 1999.
Don't be fooled by the internet. It's cool. It's cool to get on the computer, but don't let the computer get on you. It's cool to use the computer. Don't let the computer use you. You all saw The Matrix. There's a war going on. The battlefield's in the mind. And the prize is the soul. So, let's be careful. Be very careful. Thank you.
Okay, so there you go. Get out of your mind, folks. 90% of the time, you're running on autopilot on the subconscious and unconscious part of your mind. 90% of the time. Unless you're 100% aware of what you watch, what you listen to, what you think about, and the actions you take, you're being programmed. You cannot reprogram yourself if you're not paying attention, and if you do not consciously change the programming. So, that's a fact of life. That's a fact, baby. So 90% of the time, you're on autopilot, baby. You're being manipulated. Every friggin' commercial, everything that is said, you're recording. Once you understand you're not your mind, all it does is record all these events. You're on a start to a new path, but you have to be consciously aware and change the programming. That's up to you, not up to us. So here's the deal. Why have you not voted for people that represent the will of the people in a manner that serves the people in a positive, uplifting, and progressively good experience? Is that a little too much for you people to understand? Your system is broken. There are other, financial system and various other things are broken as well. The construct is broken. You are a human being. Like there's 8 billion human beings, and every one of those human beings has value and worth. Everybody has value and worth in the United States. When are you going to wake up, get away from this two-tier system that just fights amongst one another, and create a system that works for the people, lifts up the people in a progressive, positive manner that makes it better for everyone? That's all I'm saying, folks. Use your own discernment. You have that ability to use your own discernment to be able to make the choices that are kind and uplifting for yourself and your neighbor, family, and everybody else. So I'm going to leave that with you. Send love and peace to everyone. And we'll come back with another one soon. Take care, folks. We're going to end on a positive note.